Alright, I've got a good bit of my hardware laid out. The first step is to slide these along the railing here to give you something to screw to. So there's 3 for each side. So 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. And then what I'll do for each side is space them out. Space them out. Kind of in a general vicinity of where I think that it's going to go. So where are these? Up. 2 right there. And I can leave that one somewhere right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting one together, and we'll put it there and there, and we'll kind of make our way coming front to back, and I'll tune in when that first one is up. Something I noticed is that when you put these on, they don't reach, so that's what these brackets are for. So it sits flush just like that, and then you've got something to screw it into. So I'm just finger tightening these. If you see that these are square holes, there's certain ones with square and other ones with round, so I'm assuming the square ones go with the square holes, and then you go washer, lock washer, and then a nut. And I'm just finger tightening these. See if you can see that. Yeah, right in there. Just kind of getting it in a general spot and secure so that when I put these brackets on, this thing isn't too unstable. So something I noticed is when the rack is on the truck, there's not enough space behind here to like really, get a socket wrench behind it. So I'm gonna put these on here off the truck, and then I will put it on and connect it to this lower part right here. Okay, so now I've got these in, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my first one up in here where I want it, and then the rest will follow from there. Alright, this first one is in, and now what I'm going to do is build out the other 2 and then place them, just place them for distance, and there's some bars that go on the top, so it'll help me space all of this out, but it's not all tightened down. Yeah, I still have, some bolts to put in here to make it nice and tight, but first one is in. Alright, I've got the second one built here, and then what I'm doing is I'm using this top bracket to figure out spacing. And one thing to note was that even though I finger screwed these on, they were still too tight, and it pulled one of these sides like underneath down a little bit, so I couldn't get the bolt in, and I was like, whoa, does this not fit? And so I realized that I still screwed these in just a little bit too tight, but I undid that, and then this bolt went in very easily. So I'm working on spacing these so that I can screw these brackets in at the right spot. And I'll probably put the other one on just to be able to throw that last bar up, or I'll throw the last bar up. So I'm just gonna keep, I'll throw the other one on, I'll put it here, and then I'll put this last bar together right down there. But I mean, to be honest, it's pretty simple. Another thing that I came across was you can put this behind and have it sticking out the other way, but I don't think that's right. They don't give you any instructions for this, so I like having this plate cover the black. I just think it looks cleaner. So that's what I'm doing. So my first mistake happened, and this happens when you do projects like this, but I put the bracket on the wrong way. I'm like, why is this fitting weird? Like there's a gap here all of a sudden. I put the bracket on the wrong way. So I'm gonna fix that and I'll be right back. All right, so what I did is I spaced it out on the two ends, there and there, which left a spot here and a little spot there. So what I will do now is throw in some bolts on the top there, and then in the sides here and here, and they are on both sides. So I'm gonna tighten this thing all the way down. Once I had the top spaced out, you can use one bar straight down the middle, but I like the 2 bar setup, as I'm also gonna throw a rooftop rooftop tent on there. And then once it was all spaced out, I bolted these in nice and tight on all 6 of them. And now I'm going to put some bolts in the rest of these and make sure everything is nice and tight and square, because I'm a slight perfectionist. And then the last things are these RCI plates that go on the side here. Now they do have like this silver bracket that goes behind here to make the RCI pop and stand out. Otherwise it kind of gets just blacked out by the background of this being black. So I talked to the lady today and she said she'll make a note to send me some, because I told her I'm making YouTube videos and want to rep this brand, because this is some quality welding and quality steel. So I'm super excited about it, and it's looking good, it's looking square. I am a happy camper. Something I realized is these bolts, I couldn't get on. So like this bolt right here, I couldn't get it on if I had screwed this top down first, which I initially did. So I had to do a little adjustment in order to get this bolt on right there. So I had to do that on both sides. And then once those are on, I have 2 left, and then I'll put the top back in, and then these all are free and clear. So it looks like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, so 24 on each side once I finish these 2 here. All right, I've got all 6 plus the one up top, so 7 in on this side, and same thing over here on that side. So I'm gonna ratchet these down nice and tight and then keep working my way back. I've got 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, and then 4 on the other side too. So I'll ratchet all this down, and then I'll get back to you when I'm putting these RCI side plates on, because those are going to look sweet. I just made another mistake, and you see right here I did 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm running out of hardware I'm seeing that, you know, if I go 2, 4, 6 times 2 would be 12 bolts, because I have no more bolts. So if I take 2, 4, 6 times 2, 4, 6, so there's 12 right there. So I put one too many on each side here. So I got to take those out so that I can put these RCI plates on the side. So if you're putting this together, just know that there's not extra hardware. It's pretty close to the exact amount that you're going to need. And I was just putting them in for style and look, and I'm realizing that I shouldn't have done that. So I will undo this and be back when I'm putting the plates on. Alright, I undid my mistake. I got all those out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And now what I'll do, because I have this hardware back, is I will put the side plates up, and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay, if I were to redo this build, I'd build it on the ground. And the reason is because once I put this bracket on, which is so sick by the way, these bolts didn't fit. So what I had to do is I had to come to this bracket here and loosen that so that I could make these bolts fit in. And it's like a pain in the butt. And now I'm trying to ratchet it down, and it's uncomfortable to kind of be in here. So what I would do is if I were to rebuild this, I'd build it upside down on the ground. I would put everything on, the side plates, everything, before I brought it onto the truck. And the last thing that I would do is just ratchet them down in place where it's sat. So instead of doing that first, I would actually build the whole thing on the ground, flip it upside down so you have access to ratchet it comfortably, and then flip it right side up, put it on the bed of the truck, and ratchet it all in. So just learning lessons, you know, you always learn something new when you build something like this. So I have this side on, these two are ratcheted down for the most part. I gotta finish that one, and then I gotta do these, and then hopefully I don't run into the same issue on the other side, because that'd be annoying. But it's coming together. It's looking pretty sick, if you ask me. And then right here is where that silver plate would go, so the RCI would really pop. So I'm hoping she sends me those, because I want them, and I want it to look as cool as possible. So when I finish the other side, I'll show you the finished product and go from there. That is a wrap. I've got a rack on this bad boy. RCI is who I got the rack from. I made sure everything's bolted down, rebolted that one, and man, she is looking good. The socket size that I used for this is a 15 millimeter, and again, I would definitely build it on the ground before I put it on the bed of the truck. That way you're not building up, but you're, you know, building down on the ground and have a solid base to do it. But also definitely build it on like a carpet or something so you don't scratch your steel here. But This is sweet. I couldn't be happier. And there she is.